Rachel here, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a classic hearty beef stew with delicious dumplings. This is going to go down a treat with your family. It's really healthy and hearty. So first, here are the ingredients. 2 tablespoons of oil, 1.5 pounds of chuck steak, 2 onions, 5 cloves of garlic, 3 carrots, 2 parsnips, 1 little turnip, 1 leek, some fresh rosemary, use dried if you haven't got fresh, some ketchup and some beef bouillon, some flour and salt and pepper. So we've got 250 grams of self-raising flour, some butter and some salt and pepper. All the amounts are going to be in the recipe below. So first we're going to heat our pan really hot, pop the oil in, and then we're going to do the meat in 2 batches. You may even have to do 3 batches if your pan isn't as big as mine. The idea is don't overcrowd your pan, get the oil as hot as you dare, get the extractor fan on or the windows open and get lots of colour on the meat. You can see it's sticking a little bit, but all of those things are going to create flavour. So get it as hot as you dare, move the meat around, don't move it too much, you just want to flip it over. You can see there's really a lot of colour on there. It's going to give the stew flavour. Oh, that one went for Hugo. It's really worth doing this, it gives such a difference to the stew. So once the first batch is done, set it aside, and then we're going to do exactly the same thing with 1 or 2 more batches. My pan is huge, so I only have to do another batch. In the pan, no more oil is required. All of your diced vegetables, I dice mine fairly small. That's so the kids will actually eat them because they kind of melt down as well. So give it a really good stir, get all those nice flavours off the bottom of the pan, back in with the meat and all the juices too. Give that another really good stir, and then the next thing you're going to add is the flour, and the flour is essential. It's going to thicken the stew. You don't want a watery stew, this makes all the difference. That's about 3 tablespoons there of plain flour. Give it a really good stir, 1.5 litres of beef stock. Feel free to add a glass of wine or some beer or anything like that. Some flavours like that are great in this stew. Some tomato ketchup, use puree if you prefer. And then the fresh rosemary, feel free to use dried, salt and pepper, and then give it a really good stir. That goes in a low oven. Mine was on about 130 for 4 hours. Now you're going to get your self-raising flour and your cold cubed butter, and as though you're making a crumble, you're going to crumble the butter squash the butter really into the flour to make a kind of breadcrumb-like consistency. If you've got a food processor, for God's sake use that. I haven't got one at the minute, so it's the old-fashioned way for me. Salt and pepper and some cold water. 2 little splashes of that is enough to bring it together in a dough. It's a really easy dough, it should come together no bother. Pop some cling film on it and pop it in the fridge. You don't have to do that, but I like to do it in advance and just pop it in the fridge. Okay, so this has been in for 3.5 hours. It's really lovely and thick. Give it a nice stir. I did give it 1 stir as well while it was in the oven before. You don't have to, doesn't really make a difference. This is my top tip. So I mash the vegetables down a bit even more so that the kids will not know that they are eating like lots of vegetables. Because if your kids are anything like mine, they will just like leave the vegetables. And so give it a stir. That just makes it into a really lovely, thick, creamy consistency. And now the next thing is to pop in the dumplings. So work your dough a little bit if it's been in the fridge. And then you're going to cut the dough in half, quarters, 8ths and 16ths, and you're going to roll the dough into little balls. So they're going to expand. Again, my pan is huge and the recipe quantities are big. Feel free to halve all of these quantities if you've got a smaller pan. There's only a couple of you. We did have some leftovers after this. So we're going to pop a bit of water into the stew just to loosen it, because the dough will expand and it will suck in all that stew. The dumplings will suck in the moisture. So pop in the dumplings. As you can see, they're about golf ball size. Space them out evenly, but just leave the top showing because I think it looks nice, and then you know where they've gone. Lid back on, back in the oven for half an hour, and that's it. It's perfect, ready to go. You can see in a minute that they've expanded really, really nicely. They were so fluffy and light, it was just the best. The kids really, really enjoyed this dinner. So guys, give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and do let me know if you made this recipe. I'd love to find out when you make it. That's it for now, guys. Bye!